a latch?
Yeah, it's like a little, yeah, I was just going to say, you're going to bury your doors in the ground. It's like a little pin on this side. And it keeps them in place so that the doors don't flap when you're dumping it.
The door is not going to get on your eyes.
Ooh, smell it.
It smells good.
All right.
Mommy, watch out!
Gonna go?
Oh dear, it's gonna come. Mom, watch
Gonna
out!
go?
Mommy, watch out! Watch out!
Might take a little persuasion.
Oh no!
Hold this. Come here.
Come here. Come here. Oh yeah. Keep going.
Keep going.
That's good.
Mom, it's bleeding. What's bleeding? It's bleeding. Mommy, it's bleeding.
Okay.
Can I see?
You controlling it?
Oh.
Farm kid video games right there.
It's fine. Keep your finger in your mouth.
Did you do a good job? So I've been following my tracking for my order from McMurray Hatchery for our meat birds, and we have some layers in there as well. And I was fully anticipating a phone call this morning based on when they were shipped, and just nothing. And so about 8 o'clock this morning, I looked at the tracking and it said that they were being processed at a sorting facility 20 minutes from my house. Which means that they still have yet to be delivered to my local post office. So the post office opened at 8:30, and I decided that I called the sorting facility, and I told her my tracking number, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they're here, and we'll eventually get them to your post office today, but you're more than welcome to come get them here." And that was a no-brainer. Yes. You're 20 minutes down the road versus my post office is 8 minutes down the road. I'll just go get them right now. They don't need to be sitting in a sorting facility for half the day and then make another trek to a post office and then another trek back here. So, no brainer. We're going to go pick them up right now. And you can wait.
That's him?
All right.
Wait, is this an
Are you driving? All right, so our feed building has our brooder in it, and we put plastic up where the wind likes to rush in, just so that we can keep them somewhat draft free. But here's our brooder box. We've had this since we've ever started breeding chickens, so 5-6 years ago, and it's literally 2 sheets of plywood cut in half, and then we have these hardware mesh windows on 2 sides just to allow some sunlight to come in, and then this fold down door so that we can access them. There's also a hardware mesh top to it, so that any predators out here are being forced not to come in. So this is how we have it set up. We find that we can brood both the layers and the meat birds together. Whoops. Both the layers and the meat birds together if we create a division here. And so that's what we're doing. And if you're going to do that, make it extra high, because you wouldn't believe how jumpy they can be by just a few days old. So this is how a brooder should be set up. Bubba. Okay, so now that we've got them all in here, just keep an eye on them, and just if there's any that are really down and out, getting trampled on, whatnot, we may bring them inside. We have just like heat warming plates that we use inside, and just kind of create that as like a NICU for chicks, and just kind of keep an eye on those. But otherwise, I really like this here, how this brooder is set up with the way that the sun shines in, so they're still getting the daylight that they need. And one other thing that I may add here in the next day is just a little dish of some fine stone or rocks, just really fine, almost like the size of the crumble of their feed. And are you mad about the chicks? Yeah. And that'll give them a little bit of grit. So
wait, that one just stood up.
Oh yeah.
And there it goes. Down it goes.
She's very concerned about the chicks. Yeah, so hopefully we'll come back in the next 24 hours and not really have much loss. We will anticipate at least a few that we may lose. Our box actually arrived with a couple already gone, so that's to be expected. And we ordered these from McMurray Hatchery, and they did throw in a couple extra of the meat birds and a couple extra of the laying hens, basically as insurance, if we were to lose any, because it happens.
You're beat. Did you drink some water?
So the truck driver life is a hard one, and Farmer Josh has unexpectedly been delayed, and his truck broke down. He's at least 2 nights away from the house this week. We started the garden compost and started, running the tiller to test it out. And we had hopes of shoveling some compost and tilling this week. In addition, we got the chicks. He's not been here since we got the chicks. So it's a tough one, and I feel for him because he was not anticipating being out of town for this length of time, and so he's not as prepared. The wind. If he knew in advance, like you would pack a bag. I mean, he always has an emergency bag, but it's not for multiple nights. So that's what we're dealing with right now. But otherwise, it's the morning after the chicks came to us yesterday, so we are going to check on them and just see how everybody's doing. moment where, and maybe you don't know, this is what I'm experiencing, and it hits me every spring, and so it should be no surprise to me, but it still hits me when the chick order comes. I'm potting up seedlings for our plant sale. The event list for the spring is going out. New spring products are being made for our market. We're about to launch our cultivated community food club. And I'm realizing that I must have thousands of things to keep alive in my life right now, between plants and animals. And I'm just, it's overwhelming. But you can very easily take that overwhelm and make it a negative feeling. And I think we forget, my friend posted this on social media the other day actually. I think we can forget easily how we can live in the and or space. I am overwhelmed. I have been staying up very late. There is a lot going on in life and farm business and, you know, Farmer Josh's work. But also, we're so incredibly blessed to be able to do this work, and it's good. It's all good things. I get to kiss 4 children goodnight every night in a very involved bedtime routine. I get to cook from scratch for my family. Hold on. And I get to run this farm business and meet all of these amazing farmers and customers, people in my community I get to network with. I get to send emails and learn more about so many things within the county that I live in, and it's overwhelming, the amount of balls that I'm juggling. But it's also something I don't want to give up, and I really don't think that's my calling, is to just let that go and simplify. I think almost like living this life and the demands that I'm experiencing is a form of simplicity, in a back to your roots kind of way. And I feel like it's a matter of me showing others the same type of simplicity, the same type of grounded and rooted life, that, oh, Amazon's here with some wire for our pasture fence, which is another task that we need to get done. But all of this to say, living in the and or space is not talked about often, and it can be really, really good. So anyways, I am potting up some tomatoes for our plant sale. We usually, or since we've been having plant sales, we have been having them at hosted sites. Coffee shops and other small businesses will let us pop up a table with a bunch of seedlings, and we have our plant sale. But this year's going to look a little different. We're going to have it here on the farm, and I'm excited. We have not had many farm events since we've moved here, and mainly because we're just trying to get things set up and, you know, get everything kind of somewhat in its place. And I think, yeah, so it'll be in April. It'll pretty much be our first little on-farm event.
There's stink
There's stink bugs in here. And
3 of us?
I hope that
That's gross.
people come out, that we either just get a lot of curiosity of people who want to see the farm, whether they want to buy plants or not. And then also kind of get a good feeling of how our food club is going to work in regards to parking and, you know, just logistics with people who are curious but haven't stepped foot on a farm in a while or don't know general farm rules, like not touching fences and leaving the animals alone, and hopefully you don't bring your pet dog with you. So it should be a fun time. I'm hoping that we can just
bugs.
have plants and a lot of other fun things to do while people are here. So I'm going to finish getting these potted up, and we're going to move on with getting the garden continued to be tilled and getting onions planted here soon.
We're trying to get
We keep getting delayed, so we're on a time crunch here. So we moved the chicken tractor from the original garden layout space to over on this side of the property, and it was really easy. So we're very pleased with how this turned out. We have a whole video series on how we made this, fails, successes, all the things, but overall right now we are super happy with it. It's full-on garden tilling day. So if you're new here, we moved to this farm last fall, so it's spring. There are absolutely zero things, fence, garden, nothing here. So just bare land, and it is such sick soil, like it's terrible. So we are having to regenerate the soil, and it is proving to be extremely difficult. So to establish the garden spaces, we are going to till it up first, and then we are going to be adding in loads of compost so that years from now we will not have to till very much, just maybe like a light tilth layer. We are super behind schedule. Farmer Josh works outside of the house. He's a truck driver, and this week has been a nightmare. He broke down over 6 hours away from home, basically at his furthest away spot, and they had to tow him another 5 or 6 hours further away from home up in Baltimore. And he was basically gone unexpectedly for 3 nights. And so we were going to be tilling all throughout the week here and there. And then this weekend we were going to be doing some planting. Really, we wanted to get all this planting and tilling done 2 weeks ago. So now we're even more behind schedule, and Daddy needs me. Okay, so let's go see. I know he's tilling, so let's go see what he's doing.
I don't need to wear my shoes.
So this spring wind is making it super difficult to film. Anyways, we got the garden all tilled up. It is, I think, a 45 by 36 foot space. We have now all of that compost back there. I don't even know where it's behind the hammock. You can't even see it. It's all behind the hammock. All of that compost over there needs to go here. So we threw a shout out on social media for an open call farm work day. So anytime tomorrow, we'll see if anybody shows up. I do know I have some friends coming over that just want to hang out. They just had a baby and they just want to send their big kids to run feral with ours, which is totally okay. So we'll see if I can rope some kids into shoveling dirt, but we're gonna try to get the compost all deposited here so we can start planting. Good morning. We are expecting a couple people to come over today to help shovel compost. So we are moving compost into the new garden area, and cheers to a beautiful day spent with friends. Tired. We had friends come over that lent equipment and shovels and stayed to shovel compost in the garden, and what a blessing, because it was so wonderful that it was just fellowship and shoveling dirt. So we have about 2/3 of the garden filled with compost, and he's tilling it in right now, just kind of mixing it all up with the native soil as well. And like I said, years down the road, we will just have to keep working on the soil here, and eventually it'll get to a point where we're not going to need to add too much compost until just because we're disturbing the soil food web that's naturally there. So we're gonna just continue to plug away at getting the rest of the compost in the garden throughout the week and mixing that all in. And I've got onions and broccoli and cabbage to plant, and I'm gonna start getting that done.